Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Many times people have asked me, where do you find the inspiration, the creativity to do all the amazing things you do, like write a book, put up YouTube videos, create events? Where do you find all that inspiration? And this is what I tell them. Anyone can do what I do. You only need to find out how to ignite your creativity. So today, I'll be sharing insights that can help you bring your creativity to light so you can deliver to the world and make the world a better and a brighter place. So stay with me, guys. Welcome to the Passion and Purpose Hub. My name is Tunde Kukoyi, and this is the channel where we share useful knowledge to gear you towards your success and fulfillment in life. If you're a professional from any field of life and you're looking for inspiration on how to live out your passions and your ultimate purpose, then this channel is for you. So, what are the ways that we can ignite our creativity? The first thing is to avoid distractions. Did you know that we all have greatness inside of us? But if we don't take time to filter out all the noise, you will never hear that soft, still voice, that soft inner creative voice trying to speak to you. In today's age, we're constantly being pulled here and there from notifications from our phones, from never ending TV shows, not to add the demands of work, family, house chores, even traffic. Now, while I'm not calling any of this out as bad, all I'm trying to say is that sometimes you just need to take a break from all of this in order to connect to your inner core if you want your creativity to flow. I recently saw a post, a social media post about how many of the world's largest companies started from garages. Companies like Amazon, Disney, Google. People talk about how they started from garages, and all people claim is they started without funds. But there's something that people are missing out of the story. For many of these world changers, these industry disruptors, the garages for them served as their places of solitude where they could break free from distractions and connect and let their inner creativity flow. There is something which scientists call the state of flow or transient hypofrontality, and they've said that the brain is at its most creative in this state. What happens in this state is that the areas of the brain that are responsible for things like deep thinking, concentration, problem solving, they're slowed down. And that allows for areas of the brain that are responsible for things like memory, creative thinking, places like the hippocampus and parietal lobe, they become activated, and then the person goes into a creative state. I'm sure you've heard of artists that have had to use like drugs or narcotics in order to feel high. What many of them are trying to do is to induce this creative state in which they break free from everyone. They don't feel connected, and then the flow comes. And for some of them, it actually works. But we know that in the short term that might seem to work, but in the long term, they end up with problems of dependence, tolerance, and withdrawal, and it has damaging effects on the body. The good news is that you don't have to do any of this in order to get into the flow state. All you have to do is to break free from distractions and engage in activities that do not require deep thinking. Things like taking long walks in nature, things like yoga or running, and you just see how your creativity naturally flows. Friends, creativity is at its peak when we're alone. So, out of your busy schedules, make some time for silence, stillness, and solitude, and watch your creativity flow. The second thing you can do to ignite your creativity is to associate with creative people. There is a saying that goes, walk with the wise and you will be wise. I believe that you can also walk with the creative and you become creative. Creativity begets creativity. Check out some of the most creative people in the world, and you find out that they draw their inspiration from another creative person. The way it happens is when you study other creative people, you get to think the way they think, and then you become more creative yourself. Jim Rohn once said that you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with. Now, the people you hang out with influence the way you think and ultimately your actions. You might be asking me, why do I need to associate with creative people? I'll give you some reasons. The first is that when you hang out with creative people, they get you to think differently from the norm. They get you to see things outside the box, and they also serve as a proof of concept. What this means is that when you see that someone else can do something, then it gets you to start thinking that you can do it yourself. Another reason why you need to hang out with creative people is for your own protection as a safe space. When you start coming up with creative ideas, believe it or not, people will laugh at you, make a ridicule of you, criticize you, or even ignore you. But if you have that creative circle that you can fall back into as your safe space, there your ideas are encouraged, and your ideas are encouraged to grow from good ideas to great ideas. How do you meet creative people? Join clubs. Join creative clubs. Go to galleries, theaters, exhibitions, and network with people. You can also draw inspiration from other people's creative work by listening to their music, reading their books or autobiographies, or even studying their works of art. Remember, work with a creative and you will become creative. The final tool that I want to talk about today is action. This is probably the most important tool in igniting your creativity. It's ironic that many people wait for some inspiration before they take action, but things don't work that way. It is not inspiration that gets us to take action, it is rather continuous action that brings us inspiration. We become more creative by taking action and the transformative experience that happens to us thereafter. I'll give you an example. When I first started this YouTube channel, I could count on my fingertips the number of topics that I had. But as I started anyway, more and more topics, more and more things to discuss started flowing to me easily and naturally. We get ideas that come to us in short bursts, but what do we do with those ideas? Are you still waiting for the perfect idea? Or are you taking action on the ideas that you have, knowing that each idea moves you closer to the right idea? Have you ever had an idea that you thought was a great idea, but you kept pushing the execution back? And then suddenly you notice that someone else is doing the exact thing. Well, that's what happens with nature. If you are inactive with an idea for too long, nature automatically takes it from you and gives it to someone else. I'll tell you a story. It's a story of a Zen master and a professor. So the story says that the professor went to the Zen master and was like, "Teach me about Zen. Teach me your wisdom. I want to know all about all that you know." But the master kept quiet. But the professor kept talking about all the things that he knew, but the master kept quiet and he got a teapot and was pouring tea into a cup. So the cup became full, but the master kept pouring. And the professor at some point became frustrated and was like, "Why are you still pouring? This cup is full." And the master looked at him and said, "That is you. How do you expect to become full without not first emptying yourself?" So the question I have for all of us is this. I know that we all have creative elements within us, but the question is, what use are you putting your creativity to? Are you still bottling all of it up, or are you letting it flow? Remember these 3 tips that I've taught you today. The first is avoiding distractions. The second one is associating with creative people. And the third one is taking action. I'll end today's discussion with a quote from Maya Angelou, which says, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." Thanks for watching. I hope you gained something valuable in today's video. If you did, please share with someone who you think will benefit from this video as well. Also, remember to subscribe and turn on the notification button if you haven't done so already, so you never miss another mind-transforming video like this. Until we meet again, dear friends, keep living with passion and purpose. See you later.